I want to get into this before we get going. Everybody probably don't need an introduction to my fan base. I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like we have huge alignments, but this is Brendan Schaub. We originally got linked because you invited me on your podcast.
Yeah, but you came on the Fire and the Kid years ago, man.
Early.
Way early.
And now it's like a huge success. I mean,
yeah, it does well.
All the shit you're doing.
But that came from, because I forget what
the TV show.
The TV, but even before that, because I used to fight in the UFC, and I was in camp.
We'll get there.
And I was on one of your songs, and there's always like themes.
Do you remember what it was? Was it Swish?
Closer.
Because
I would run the Santa Monica stairs at like midnight, and it's just me and my coach.
It's literally that was literally, not to cut you, literally my vision making that song was for that.
That's what I would do, man. So that song would be on repeat, and it was the worst freaking workout, man. We do 12 of them.
I love that.
Every freaking week.
Fires me
and
up.
I would just play that song over and over and over.
It fires
and then
me
I
up.
remember, I think it was Instagram. I posted it and tagged you, and then you responded back. I was like, dude, this is the theme for the camp. And then you and I just started vibing. Then we got timeshare, and here we are now.
Yeah. Social media is a wild place.
It's pretty cool, because how else would you connect?
You can shit on it all you want, but how amazing. Like,
there's a ton of pros to social media. There's a ton of cons. It's toxic.
It's like anything else.
Anything else. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Exactly. So
that's where it started. That's where but that's where I found out about you, because it was like, I forget, it just popped up in my playlist somewhere, and I was like, oh, this is the shit. And then you and I just started talking, and then you had your TV show come out. You came on Fire and the Kid, and then we've just been talking ever since, man.
Out of the press I did for that, because we didn't do much press. It was an Esquire-based show, like a small network. That was hands down the best press we did too, and you guys were probably 1/5 the size you are now.
Yeah, same demo though. You know what I'm saying?
You got a real fucking fan base out of the gate.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do you think? Why do you think that is? Because I like, we're gonna have alignments this entire conversation. That's how I feel about it. But like, I feel that way about my fans. You know, I've never been a mainstream artist by any means. But there's like this certain connection that you feel through the fans, and you feel it grow. But like, it can't be manufactured at all. Like the connection, the level of passion. You might have X amount of followers.
Yes.
But what's their passion level? You
yeah,
know what I mean?
For me, I think it started because most people only knew me through the UFC. And the UFC was, when you're getting ready to fight a grown man in a steel cage or underwear, it's so intense. So when you're doing the countdowns, it's like, oh, I'm going to rip this dude's head off. I'm going to knock him out in under a round.
Rip his head off.
Yeah, rip his head off. It's just so intense.
Yeah.
So, and then I was on The Ultimate Fighter, and the way they edit that, it's just like that's not me. That's not real, but that's how people were introduced to me. So I started doing the podcast with Brian, where it's an hour, 2-hour long show, and I'm not that guy. Like I've never been that guy. I'm not some meathead. I'm an aggressive dude. So then I think fans were watching me fight in the UFC, but then listened to me on the podcast, and then they came up with me, because on the podcast, win or lose, I'd go on the podcast, I'd cry on there, I'd be in camp, tell them how terrible it is, or what I'm dealing with, or injuries. So they just kind of came along with me on this journey, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Like you can go back and listen to our first 2 episodes where I was terrible on the mic. Yeah. I was nervous. I was like trying to figure it out. So and then also when I was talking about maybe trying stand up to where I'm at now. So it's like, I don't think you really get that this day and age, where it's just like this authentic kind of come up, I guess, where it's like I'm thinking about doing this to have a Showtime special.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I mean, it's again, like, it's something I feel I could just, as I watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's so many alignments. So you're a busy ass motherfucker. You probably haven't seen much of our stuff, but the whole idea of this is, it's called You Never Know. And like the basis of it, everyone who sits here has this wild journey with many twists and turns to land in the successful seat. You're here, but your story has incredible amount of pivots. Like a lot. My
pivots or failures, depending how you call it.
Yeah, but I choose to say, like
I'll take pivots,
right? Because it really, that's what it is. And your
sure.
story is that to a T. And like the biggest thing was like I especially because I told you I've had to kind of take my foot off the gas on the surface of music.
Yeah.
So this was like, I started paying attention. I started getting into spirituality a little bit more, and how I can give back. Well, to be honest, I went through like a hard breakup where for the first time, like so baseball, rah, rah, rah. Always rocking and rolling, rocking and rolling. Never had a dull moment. Never had time for a girlfriend. Was always the best where I was at.
Yeah.
Always had this plan, this vision. Go to Duke, All-American. Boom, I'm 2 years away. All of a sudden, I'm dead. You know what I mean? My fucking arm falls off.
Yeah.
And I start, and then the music thing, you heard, you know, it's very, very like, when you talk about the most long shot, this music shit is the most long shot to me. Like when I was starting it or doing it, I didn't think this was gonna happen. It wasn't even, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be the longest shot.
Right.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it just didn't.
Yeah.
So I got there and like I really didn't have time to digest any of it. All of a sudden, rah, 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 song, tour to tour. This is what we're doing. How many bitches are there? Yeah, like that's all it was. And then I move out here. I told you we were living on Sunset. We're ready to run it the fuck up.
All you knuckleheads
And we-
of Sunset trouble now.
Yeah. And we were fresh out. Like we came from shit. Like all of us are like regular ass, like blue collar shit.
Love
so
it.
we're like, fuck it, let's run it up.
Yeah.
4 months in, I meet Josie, who's my ex now, but
Okay.
turns into fucking 4 years.
Love it.
So
Have you had a long-term girlfriend before that?
Never.
Love it.
Never. So I'm like, what the like none of it was planned. Right? But like
All your boys were bummed out. But
yeah, they're
whatever.
like, as soon as I walk out of the room, they're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
What an idiot.
What an idiot.
Yeah. So then I go through the breakup and I'm like,
Have you talked about the breakup on here?
yeah, a bunch. Yeah. I'm
Is it-
super open about it. Yeah.
You start crying. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, sheesh, why'd I come over here?
Yeah,
man?
I'm like, what the
God.
fuck's happening right now?
Fucking.
Help! Help!
Yeah.
Was it a mutual breakup or was
Yeah.
it?
Oh, very mutual. It was one of those
Were you
things-
guys toxic
When I
at
say it
the
was
end?
hard, it was just such a grind. Like the last
Staying
year,
together?
the last year was like a grind of like, what the fuck are we doing? Are we gonna figure this out?
Why? Because you guys were just
Just the compatibility
your career.
depleted and depleted and depleted as time. I mean, she's young. I'm a bit older.
How old is she?
She at the time when we met, she was 18 and I was 24.
That's tough. You ever had a conversation with an 18-year-old?
18-year and granted,
It's
You know,
insane.
she's
It's like talking on
Jose
Twitter.
Canseco's daughter.
Sure.
Her mom, very LA Hollywood, like grew up in the spotlight the whole time. And in my opinion, that really creates a lot of growth, but also a lot of opportunity for distractions and failures and shit because she was way more advanced maturity wise than I was at 18. Like I couldn't even have fucking lasted 2 weeks in a relationship when I was 18.
No. Yeah.
So I always credited her for that. And I always kind of,
So when you broke up, she was 24.
yeah, or she was 23.
Still young.
Yeah. And yeah, very young.
Super young.
And it was just one of those things where like the realization, I was like, this is toxic, you know? And it was like one of those holding on and like trying to figure out. It was tough.
It's tough, man.
But then what I'm saying is after that, man, I had it was like gut check time.
You went to church?
No, it wasn't church. It was,
Because
it was
I'm here to tell you Jesus Christ saves. I'm like, fuck, dude. I thought we were going to do beer bongs and fuck bitches.
yeah, that's why I came.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, I just I like
Scientology is the life for me, man.
yeah, you didn't know what you were walking into
You're
over here.
super religious now.
Yeah, no, not even religious. I wouldn't call it religious. I just kind of like I was like, all right, who am I? Who am I?
How old are you?
I haven't really thought. I'm 30,
Yeah.
and 30 was the year I wanted to get into this a little bit, but like
Yeah.
when I turned 30, it wasn't because of the age or anything. This, you know, life handled me, but I found myself like, wow, I really don't know much about myself. How do I operate myself? What do I think? Like, what moves me the most? Like,
We've been in the fast lane, so it's tough
that's what I'm
to
saying.
stop
I
and,
never
like-
just like.
Yeah, then
stopped
when you
and,
get
like,
off the ride, like, holy shit,
I
where
hopped
am
off. I got thrown off the ride, and I was like, "Fuck," you know what I mean? And I had this big old house and these friends, and everything. If you saw me growing up, and like, I had no reason to ever be in a bad mood to be here. Obviously, humans have bad moods and shit, but I found myself
depressed.
yeah, not even depressed. It was like this, because I've always been pretty positive and optimistic, but I just was like almost disappointed in myself for the feelings I was having. I was like, you're a bitch.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
Are you though? Or are you human?
yeah, no, I mean, I definitely,
Yeah.
but originally what sent me down the spirituality path. And when I say spirituality, it was just more like self-care, but also like
Reflection almost.
reflection
Yeah.
and inspection,
Yeah.
like diving in, like, and I got really into like the human mind, and I like every day I wake up, I watch TED Talks, I meditate, all these things.
Yeah.
And I've felt this huge change But getting back to the point, I saw in my DMs, I was getting so many messages from kids, followers of mine struggling, and just like looking for answers in one way or another. And it was kind of what sparked, like I said, I had to sit on some of this music, and I felt like this was a perfect opportunity to like give back on more of a mass scale. Yeah, I'd go out of my way to try to write back to 5-6 fans a day.
Yeah.
That's 5-6 fans, on a
It's not
macro
ton.
level.
Yeah, not a ton.
Even though, my numbers aren't nearly as big as yours or
but
whoever, I'm
still,
still able to
yeah.
do it on a blanket scale and like
Yeah.
help a lot of people,
Yeah.
But wanting to get people like you here that's why I've been fucking harassing your ass to get over here.
Oh, dude,
This guy's like the president now. He's like,
I owe it to you, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you let me use your song on my special.
Of course.
But what's crazy about that, and
Which
we
was
keep
an honor.
bouncing all over, but with
Don't
the
matter.
special, whenever I'd watch specials, I'd be like, why don't they use dope music?
Mm-hmm.
Like music and the narrative is everything, man. So going to the special, I was thinking, I want it like a buildup of 24/7 with Mayweather because I'm with Showtime. So I want that build up to the special, but I want music.
Yeah.
Because they just get people in that vibe, and a lot of comics can't use dope music because they don't own the rights, or if you want to play something, it's crazy expensive, or some people just won't let you use it.
Right.
But since I don't know how years and years, I'm like, if I ever do a special, I want Mike Stud's songs in there. I want this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like
you're contractually held to that. I need
obligated, man.
You're
Next
obligated.
5 specials. You know what
You're
I'm saying?
obligated. Yeah. I
But it
love
just
that.
kicks. It just. If people feel
It was
good
awesome for me.
Yeah,
It was awesome. We loved
it was
it.
dope seeing it in person, like playing it live with the crowd.
What was that? I mean, we don't have to talk about it. I know you've talked about it a bunch, but like,
No, we can.
What
But
was-
I think back to the like people struggling, kids like that. Again, I think that's where social media is huge as well, because kids had those problems when we were growing up. But who are you gonna talk to? Your buddies,
and
your
it was
dumbass
it was
friends.
cheesy. You couldn't like.
But also, but my friends were idiots. I was an idiot, so
Me too.
we didn't know how to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then also, it's not a knock on my parents or your parents, but they also didn't have the same resources to know, oh, this kid's struggling, even though he might be the star of his football team
Right.
or good at lacrosse, he might be struggling some other ways. He might get in chicks, but that's not making me happy.
Totally.
So I have a 3-year-old son. I got another one on the way. So I feel like I have more resources
Totally.
and know that, yeah, he might be getting good grades or doing good in sports, but people are struggling, man.
Right.
It's also the struggle. The question I get the most is there's that lull, especially with athletes or college kids who, when you graduate, there's that lull where you're just like, oh, what the fuck am I going to do, man? But everyone feels that.
But
Everyone has that.
That's exactly what
Soldiers have that.
Yes.
Everybody.
That's what I get all the time. And because I had the weird transition into music, and it's like, oh, how'd you do it? And like, that's what I'm trying to say. You never fucking know. And you're the perfect candidate for it because of the pivots, as I said. I think, like, really, when I look at your story, I see a lot of me in it, and in the sense of like, bro, I mean, do you have these thoughts? I want to dive into your brain and your psyche a little bit, but like, we'll touch on the UFC career and what happened, but like, do you ever look back now and be like, thank fucking God.
Oh,
Thank
I'm not fighting?
God, I'm not fucking fighting.
That's about the only thing I reflect back on it's like, God, thank God. Because I'm still involved in it a little bit because
Yeah.
I do this Food Truck Diaries where I talk to fighters and I have a fight-ish lifestyle show on Showtime. So I still watch the fights. So like when I see 2 guys in a war, I'm just like, oh my God, thank the Lord I don't have to do that shit anymore.
I do it and I don't even fight. I never
Oh,
even
dude,
fought.
it's
I used to just
so-
get in bar fights a lot.
It's so brutal, man.
You guys laugh.
It's so brutal, So now I look at it. Yeah, thank God, man. Thank God. But it's very rare I look back and go, oh, I wish I didn't do that, or I should have done that.
Right,
It's very,
exactly.
very rare. Literally, fighting's the only thing where I go, I wish I,
Right.
Like, thank God.
Are
I
you
didn't do
saying
that.
you wish you have
It's
any
not-
regrets about it?
No, I don't have regrets about it because what led me
Yeah,
here, and it's like
exactly.
gave me my start and all that stuff. I don't have regrets.
I think you got.
I don't know.
I think it went perfectly.
Went pretty perfect.
Everything's perfect.
Yeah, went pretty perfect because
He's like, yeah, you're right.
But like as an athlete, like if you would have told me as a kid in my career, like, all right, played Division I college football, then had a shot with the Buffalo Bills. As a kid, I'm like, oh, that's a success. As a guy who's in it, that'd be a failure,
Yep.
right? So
I wanna get
then I
into
go
all
to the
this.
UFC, and it's like, all right, well, if you're in the UFC and you're fighting with your freaking hands and knees and elbows and kicking people in the face, well, the only reason I started that was become a world champion. Didn't become a world champion.
Right.
So to me, as an athlete, that'd be a failure. And then now in comedy, it's like you can't really. It's like, what what would make you a successful comic? I don't know, you know? So it's like comedy's like this painting that's never gonna be finished. Like you constantly,
That's life.
you always come back, you know, you always
That's
come
life,
back.
though.
Yeah. Which is great.
I wanted to get exactly into this.
But here's the problem is as an athlete, it's like if I want to get a better jumper, if I want to get better at throwing fastballs, I throw fastballs and I shoot jumpers.
Right.
But there's an end goal, like the championship is with comedy, and I'm bouncing now, but you know, I get pretty burnt out. It's like, I constantly I can work every night.
Yeah.
I can get on stage every night. I get on tour
Seems like you are.
I damn near. But I'm trying to pull it back now because everyone around me is like, dude, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
So, but it's that athletic mentality that I brought over to comedy, and I got to find a balance.
Yep.
I'm dying.
Somebody help me, please.
I'm dying.
I feel bad for fucking harassing him to get him over here. He's
No,
like, God
don't,
damn
man.
it.
Don't at all.
But yeah, no, dude, you touched on something I wanted to touch on. I just wanted to get your fucking psyche on it more. I heard some of it now, but like, so exactly the way you just articulated it, you know, like you have that athlete mentality. You were raised on that. Being a football player, you played at what, University of Colorado?
Yeah.
What position you play?
Tight end.
Tight end.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, we were really good.
You were good individually.
Pretty good.
You go on, you get a shot. What, you get undrafted? Just signed you?
Undrafted, go to training camp with the Buffalo Bills. We're all set on slow white guys. I get cut from the team.
We're good.
Hey, we're all good. Hey, Steve Tasker, get the fuck out.
Hey,
right?
another. I know that's a failure in the athlete mind. Another, thank God. Thank God you're not getting fucking hammered by those dudes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Pause.
that's one way to look. Well, okay, back to it.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's one way to look at it for sure.
But like, what the fuck? Like, if you
Now it's easy to say because I have the career I do now. But if I was working at, you know, Arby's,
But
like,
you do.
God damn,
But
dude.
you do,
Yeah,
though.
I know, but I do.
But you
I know,
do.
thank God.
And then go on.
Those are tough pills to swallow, man.
Yes. I want to
The
I want to
toughest.
slow down a little.
The
I'm
toughest,
not going to let
man.
you jump by this shit. 'Cause
Yeah, I
this is
know.
what this is
The
about.
toughest.
Like, you probably have a million conversations, but I'd like to have a little bit more deeper. Let's take a deep dive.
Let's go deep dive here.
But like, do you remember those times? So that's your first hardship, I guess, as an adult, career wise.
No, to be real, I'd say college, because in college,
Okay.
I was a good player, man. I was a good player, and I just always kind of got shafted. I hate to be that guy, like, but even the offense coordinator, I remember we had it was my junior, senior year. We had the big scrimmage where it's like, who does well in this based off your grading, that's who's going to be on the starting squad. And I scored one of the highest ratings. Like, I balled out, man. I remember the offense coordinator seeing me in the weight room the next morning. I'm sore. I'm working out, 6 a.m. # relentless and hashtag inspo. So I'm working out 6 a.m. after the scrimmage, being like, I'm going to do it, man. This is it.
Yeah.
And he came up and was like, Schaub, and he was my favorite coach. He wasn't my coach. He was offense coordinator. His name was Sean Watson. I think he's at Ohio State now or Nebraska. Doesn't matter, Brendan. But he goes, doesn't matter, dumbass. But he goes, man, you did great yesterday. I'm like, thank you. He goes, but you know we can't play you, right? And it was just like, because I was a walk-on, and I earned a scholarship, and there's kids ahead of me, the way it works, you know, who were scholarship players, and there's just like politics into it. I just remember like, that was like kind of the first like business thing where I was like, wow,
That's trash.
but I don't get it. And then I remember I was busting my ass, and we were like 6-0. We were ranked top 15 in the nation. And I was like an H-back tight end, so I was in the running backs room. And
That's
so
a tough position because you got to do everything. Block,
it's
block.
it's a tough go.
Yeah.
But I was the only white guy with all black dudes, and my coach was black. I remember we breaking down film on Missouri or something like that, and they had a white running back, or I forget what, and the coach goes, I don't get it, man. White guys just can't do what black guys can do. He goes, I would never play that kid. And I was like, oh, I'm fucked, man. I'm super fucked.
That's trash.
It was awful. So I just remember, but also
that
made
guy.
me what I am today. Yeah, I don't think he's still working. He was Charles Woodson's brother, by the way.
It doesn't sound like you should be
But
working.
I remember it would just put these chips on my shoulder, and then I was like, well, I got to find some way to hustle here. So it was special teams. So I was like special teams captain. I was balling out there. But it was just probably halfway through, it just took my heart out, man. I was just like, I'm busting my ass for this team. They really don't give a fuck. I just remember I lost the love for the game. Yeah. So heartbreak started there, man. My heart started to get calloused there because I was like, but I've worked my entire life for this dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm busting my ass. I remember they would take the star kid out and put me in when it was like big like hitting drills. They're like, Schaub, you're up. And at the time, I'm like, yeah, I'm that dude, man. I'll do this for the team.
Crash.
And then halfway through the season, I'm like, oh, no. Oh, you idiot. They're having you do
Take
it
the hits.
so he doesn't have to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So I think that was the first time my thing got a little thick there.
Right. So, but you go on to get a shot with the Bills. So how does that happen? You must have persevered through that, at least in college, to perform well enough.
The pro day at University of Colorado, I got ready for and just balled out. And then I got an invite to the Buffalo Bills.
Interesting.
But again, I know football so well since I was a kid. I love football. I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, listen, you've seen Rudy. Rudy had a better shot making team than I did. To get to the NFL, I'm telling you, don't get all excited. I'm headed to Buffalo. He dropped me off at the airport. I'm like, I don't want to see fucking Schaub Buffalo Bill jerseys. The chance of me getting a jersey is not good, Dad.
Oh, so you went in with that mindset.
I know how
Just
long
the reality of it.
I knew I got a shot, but
Yeah.
I just knew my odds.
Right.
I don't like to hear about odds. I don't give a fuck about odds. If someone went, hey Schaub, you know your chance of making it as a comedian is 1 in 10 million. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I'm not the guy for odds. So with that, I just knew like undrafted free agent. Someone probably got hurt. They're bringing me in.
Right.
It's not good. So I told my dad, don't fucking become a Buffalo Bills fan or a Broncos fan. I get cut. I get cut from the team. I fly back and I have a Buffalo Bills hat on. And I get to the house. My dad has a fucking Buffalo Bills flag out front of his house.
Of course he does.
I was just like, Dad.
Hey, he's just proud.
Yeah. But even then, even Buffalo Bills, it's just like, I was still pretty naive and kind of like just like this wide-eyed kind of kid who had this dream of getting to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Then you get to the chocolate factory and you realize, oh, it is some shit, dude. They didn't know my name. There's 3 47s on the team, so there's just like
sharing jerseys.
Dude, yeah.
Gotta take the jerseys,
dude. And just like the movie Invincible with Vince Papale, I remember they gave me these gloves, and I asked the trainer, I was like, "Hey man, I don't like the ones that don't have a strap. I need a strap for my wrist." And he's just like, "Dude, does it matter?" And I was like, "Oh fuck."
Oh
dude.
yeah, wow.
Yeah. Oh wow. No, you know it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right.
If you think that, probably doesn't.
Yeah.
So
how long did the stint last?
Oh man, 3 weeks. And then I went back home. I had an injured hamstring. And then it was like, we got some calls from like the Dolphins, from the Jets. My heart wasn't in it, man. But my heart was in it, but I was also, once I got to Buffalo, I realized like, dude, this isn't, let's say best case scenario, let's say I make a team. I'm not fucking Tom Brady. I'm not going to last for 17 seasons. So I might last maybe a year here, bounce around, practice squad, then get cut. So I'm delaying whatever the fuck I'm going to do next.
Right. So how long until the next pivot happens?
Well, I get done with that, and then I'm living with my brother. I have no money.
What's your psyche here?
I just felt like a loser. It was just like, all right. But I felt like a loser, but I also felt like, I think if I do have a superpower, I never identified as just a football player, just a fighter, just a comic. Like, I don't care about those labels. So I was like, all right, we got to figure it out. I was just trying to figure something out. So I was selling supplements door to door, Pursuit of Happiness style, the worst job I've ever had. Knocking on doors.
I love it.
Going to gyms.
I love it.
Slanging these pills.
Slanging
but just
pills.
embarrassed too, because I was in my hometown and, walk into a gym where kids are getting ready for the NFL and be like, how you guys doing? Like, what the fuck you doing here? I'm like, do you guys need creatine? It's just like,
Dude,
so I had to swallow the pride
very
there. Humbling there. And then I remember I saw a UFC fight and I was like, God, those big guys, the heavyweights. I was like, those guys are big and sloppy, man. And I was like, I know if I put some training, I could beat those guys off the bat. Mm-hmm. And so I just started doing jiu-jitsu and boxing while I was working with a supplement company. And then I had one fight. I remember my mom came down. Well, even before that, I was training with this monster, and I didn't know where I was going to go with it. And he goes, yo, Golden Gloves is next week, the boxing tournament. And I go, oh, cool, man. He goes, I signed you up for it. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking 6 months into this. Like, I'm not ready for that. He's like, just go. It'd be a good experience for you.
Go get your brains.
Yeah, go box.
Completely.
Go fucking box. And so I remember I told my dad, me and my dad were working out. I go, I'm gonna do Golden Gloves, and I'm thinking about fighting. My dad was so disappointed because I have a double major, I have my degree. My dad's a smart guy. He's like, you're a moron. And then I said, come to Golden Gloves. If I lose, I'll do whatever. I'll work for you, whatever you want. We can do that. So my dad comes,
I love this.
and I end up winning Golden Gloves, win the whole thing.
Wow.
And it's just like when you think of boxing, like think of a seedy Coliseum in Denver. I'm the only white guy. Everybody's Mexican, black. My family's the only white family there.
Everyone thought you were Mexican.
Every other, like, oh, look at that giant Mexican.
That's a big Mexican.
Anle. So I remember I'm getting my hands wrapped because it was so there's no locker rooms. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Kids are drinking Gatorade and fucking grape soda. So I'm getting my hands wrapped, and my opponent who's in the finals, this guy who fought in the army, was like 76-0, this giant black guy. And my dad's sitting next to me. My dad has no experience fighting. It's so intense and just raw. It's like basically pit bull fighting.
Yeah.
And he walks by. My dad goes, "Who the fuck is that?" I went, "That's my opponent, Dad." My dad goes, "Oh my God." I'll never forget him putting his head in his hands going, "Oh my God. Oh my God." And I was like, can you not right now? Can you not?
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. So they wrap my hands up, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is a bad idea. And then I remember you have to, it's so hoodie. I think about it. I had to go to like the commission and you were in the red gloves or blue gloves, and you had headgear on. I remember I put my hand in the red gloves, and from the previous fights, there's just blood in them. There's blood, there's sweat. It felt like
you guys were sharing gloves?
We had to share gloves because that fight would get done, then I would go. So I remember I put my hands, and I remember thinking, boy, these things are worn in. These things are thin. This is sick. And I was like, his gloves are thin and worn in. Oh, fuck. And then, I knocked him out in the second round. And then what's interesting about that, knock him out, win Golden Gloves. My dad's like, all right, whatever, dude. He leaves. And then that night I go home. Yeah, that night I go home, and my girlfriend of probably 6 years on and off moved out while I was winning Golden Gloves. Took all my shit. Literally, because she knew I was going to be there, and she wasn't coming to any of the fights. And I was like, God, that's weird. Like, it's even if I don't win, it's weird you're not supporting.
Right.
And then and I won Golden Gloves. Drove home that night, and I walk in, and it's just
completely blindsided.
gone.
Wow.
Yeah, she took all her shit. Yeah.
Wow. What a fucking little story there.
Yeah. What a whore.
Do you
Am I right?
What a stupid bitch.
But also, again, do me a favor. In hindsight, do me a favor.
Do you look
Just
back
like the
at this?
Buffalo
That's what I
Bills.
was just gonna say. Like, if I love to look back. These conversations are so amazing because everyone has their own version of it. But it's like you look back, and it's fucking weird how like life like draws up. Like in the middle of it, it's just all this big mayhem. When you're in the middle of it, it's like you're like probably on a high coming off the win and Golden Gloves. You feel like the man. You come back, you're fucking broad left. Blindsided you.
It's just, to me, it's just it's like, oh, life.
It's life.
It's life.
And that's a great,
But also,
it's a great simple way of looking at it.
I'm a cage fighter now. So it's like, what am I doing?
Right.
But also, what the fuck am I doing?
Fuck it all. But now, from your vantage point now, you look back at it and it's like every single step, everything it just sounds like it was like written in a play. Like it's just how it needed to be. And that's the outlook you need to have. You know what I mean? Like, this is life.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna stop. I knew no matter how bad it got, I know I wasn't gonna stop.
Keep
and then
going, baby.
Then I started fighting MMA. I had 2 fights, and then the Ultimate Fighter came calling. And there's a theme to kind of my life where it's like 0 to 100. Like I was 2 fights. I'm on the Ultimate Fighter with these fucking monsters. And I was like, well, looks like I'm gonna try to be a UFC fighter now. Then I go on Defeat in the House. Next thing you know, 8 months later, I'm fighting the number 10 guy in the world, Gabriel Gonzaga, in fucking Anaheim at the Honda Center on the main card, and Brock Lesnar versus Kane's the main event. Crazy. So it's just like, what is happening right now?
I read this thing on like beginner's luck, and beginner's luck seems to be happening to you a lot, and I feel like that happened to me in music, and you know, the spiritual side of it or reading into it is when you're in flow of life and you're not resisting life. So like these things happen, good or bad, and you go with that flow. Like you got to go sell creatine, you go do that.
Yeah.
You got to go, you know, you got to swallow your pride and go fucking, and go, you know, let your girl leaves. You got to swallow your pride, move on, go, like, even with comedy, beginner's luck, like all these things where with music, that's how it was for me. But it's life rewarding you for not being in flow with like the frequencies and the shit that comes to you in your life. You don't.
I hope you're right. It's
how I see it.
A lot doesn't get to me, you know. So it's like, even if I'd lose a fight, like, it's all right, I'll win the next 3, or,
Right.
like, where most people be stressed out, like I'm in this lawsuit with the county of LA right now in my house. It's like, all right, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Everyone's all around me. Everyone's freaking out. I'm like, all right. I got a kid coming in November. Everyone's like, dude, are you crazy? Like, it's a kid, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be dope.
You're in flow,
I'm not
baby.
stressed. It's
You're
like,
in flow.
Yeah, it's just, what are you going to do, man?
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Exactly. So UFC, you get on the show, kill it on the show.
Yeah, it goes well.
How were you depicted on it? You touched on it earlier. You were depicted as a wild motherfucker.
Just like I was there to win. I didn't care about making friends. I had a good time on the show. If you talk to other contestants and fighters, they're like, God, it was the roughest time ever. I knew it was 6 weeks. If I did my job, I had a career. So I'm like, 6 weeks? And my heart just got broken after 20 odd something years trying to be an NFL football player. And you're going to give me 6 weeks? Oh, it's on. So I didn't give a fuck about friends, how they edit it. As long I was winning, I was there to fucking win.
And you won it.
I won it by, so they gave 2 contracts out. Whoever went undefeated in the house made it to the finale, which was like you're the main event on a real UFC card, and you earn a contract. I made it there. Then I lost to Roy Nelson in the finals.
Okay.
But in the house, I went undefeated.
Amazing.
But I played it was dead serious. Every night writing my journal. Everyone else fucking around drinking, not me. My diet was on point. I was sleeping. I knew 6 weeks?
Yeah.
This ain't shit.
Yeah.
And everybody else would freak out and, oh, I miss my girl. I miss my dad, my kids. I didn't give a I zoned out everything.
Love it.
But when the greatest times of my life was, so when you go on that show, it is 6 weeks. No one knows how you did. They get rid of you. There's no TV, newspapers, cell phones. You don't have any communication with the outside world, none. And so I knock out this guy, Marcus Jones, in the finals to get to the finale. And it was our last day in the house. Last day, the 4 guys fight. Me and Roy both won.
Right.
I knocked this dude out. He breaks my nose, like the best fight I've ever had. And I just remember being so relieved. I remember I was doing snow angels in the octagon. I was so happy to be done. And I remember they give you your cell phone. You have one call. You can't tell anybody the results. You have one call. I called my my dad and my brother. Yeah.
Do you remember what the conversation was?
I get emotional talking about it. I just remember being like,
That's what I want.
Ugh.
He's like, I don't want to do
I just remember telling my dad, like, oh, I did it. I can't tell you, but I did it.
And what did he say?
They were just so relieved I didn't die, I think.
He's like, you're alive and you're actually, you still have your capacities?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I did it.
That's so
and
great.
like, I can't be like, oh, I won this. I was just like, oh, I did it. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's one of the best feelings I've ever had.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
When you say writing in your journal, what were you writing?
Just stuff like I took for granted when I was outside the house. Like, I was like, I need to see my dad more. I need to be nice to my brother. I need to start this.
This is what I like to hear.
Yeah.
This is so when I say I got in a spiritual wave, like,
Yeah.
I felt like I was, so much of my life had went right, and it was like I had the really hardship when my arm just like you said, I worked my entire life. I was on this fast track to be, I'm from a Rhode Island, not a baseball powerhouse, nothing of the sort. But I always just transcended and did it. And I always knew I could. And then all of a sudden I was just like done. And then the music thing, all of a sudden did it. And it was rocking and rolling, great, cool. Like all this shit I never would have dreamed of. But I realized I was taking so much of it for granted.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. So when you said journal, it struck a chord because that changed my life. I write every day when I wake up. I write what I'm thankful for.
You still write now?
Right now. Even today, like this is earlier. I work late, so like this is an early.
This is early.
Usually, like my first podcast, earliest I'll do a podcast like 1 or 2.
Oh damn. Well, because you guys work.
We make these adjustments for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You guys, everyone's all tired. You guys, he's all
Everyone's
motherfucker.
Like,
you work because you work late at night.
I'm a middle of the night guy, man.
Yeah.
There's something about the knowing that no one else is up.
Yeah, I like that. I dig that.
But like writing what I'm thankful for when I wake up, and then when I go to bed.
Yeah, I could probably do that now.
God damn it, you got to.
I could probably do that. Yeah, I could probably do that now. There was a time where, I spoke with a therapist about it. But yeah, I haven't been journaling. I guess I have a 3-year-old son, man. So it's like no matter what I'm dealing with, when I come home, it's like,
Yeah.
there's nothing like it, man.
Of course.
There's nothing like it.
That's like a form of meditation in itself.
Oh,
Like,
dude. Like,
it's like healing.
whatever you think is a big deal, like, that's not.
You look at him, you're like, the guy came out of
Oh,
my
you
ball
have, no,
sack.
you have no idea, dude. It's a game changer. Everyone
can't-
talks about it. It's such a game changer.
I know. Like, I'm so far from having a kid because I live a very selfish lifestyle. I'm sure you probably feel that way though. Like, selfish in the sense of like you're an entertainer and you're constantly fucking.
Dude, yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things. I don't see how some people do it and be a good father. Like, I could even work more than I do now, and I work a ton. I'm on the road a ton, and it's just like this. It's this resentment against yourself because you're missing things with your son. But it's like the life I provide for him, but also the hustle that it requires to be a decent stand-up comedian is a fucking monster, man.
Right.
So it's a balance. I don't really know anyone who has it perfect.
Right.
I see a list like People's Choice, like, oh, The Rock, best dad in the world. Like, that motherfucker's on set 9 months out of the year. Get the fuck out of my face.
I know.
Like, I know what it, come on.
I get it. He's a nice guy and he's
No, he's great. He's great.
right.
Get the fuck out of my face.
You're exactly right though. Yeah.
But I do pride myself on being just a beast of a dad. Like, tonight I have 2 sets. I'll get home about 2. Well, he gets up at 5:30. He doesn't give a fuck how dad's night went.
Yeah.
So I'm up when I'm home, I'm up and put him to bed 5:30 a.m., put him to bed at 7. Nothing can mess with that. Nothing messes with that.
I love that.
I won't do shows at
you
7.
sleeping?
Yeah, I barely sleep, dude.
Like, what's your average?
Well, that's why, again, this is why people are like, dude, you got to pull back a little bit, because I was doing stand up nonstop every night. So now I still do as many sets, but I'll do it all in one night, like multiple times a week. Yeah. Instead of doing like 4 in 4 days, I'll do 4 in 2 days. So then I can sleep, So I'll go, if I'm at home and on the road, I'm in bed by 9, 8:30. I'm a dad.
Are you still, you're so busy and you're a dad. Are you still like learning? Are you still,
Oh my God.
Are you still, I mean, you're constantly talking, which is great for learning the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I love doing this.
Yeah.
The only reason I bring that up is because it's helped me so much, but I actually like really dove in on sleep and watched a bunch of TED
sleep's
Talks.
everything.
That's why.
Oh, no, I'm very aware of sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, sleep is everything.
It's depleting your DNA when you're missing
100%.
sleep.
Yeah, no, I'm aware how yeah, no.
Yeah.
So that's why I've pulled back a little. On tour, I'll actually get pretty good sleep because I don't have to wake up at 5:30 with my son. We might get done at 2 a.m., but
It's fine. Yeah.
I wake up at 10 a.m.
Right.
So I'm good. So I actually get more sleep on the road, but no, I'm aware of sleep.
Are you raging on the road at all? Or you just past it?
You know what's weird is like being an athlete, I didn't do drugs. I didn't really drink. Now it's like in stand-up comedy, it's like for me, it's like I'm a whiskey guy.
Yeah.
So any set I do, I double Jack on the rocks or double Buffalo Trace on the rocks, and I'm doing that shots. My whole crew's doing it now, so it's like the shows are better. We're a little looser.
Gotta be.
So yeah,
You're talking to the loosey goosey crew.
I know,
over here.
dude. I need to come with you guys. I keep saying
You
that,
have
man.
to come to
We
the
got to
show.
do it, man.
Like, no matter what, you could have seen fucking Elton John at the fucking whoever. Like, our shows are just different.
No,
you'd be like, yo, this is
gotta
the most
come,
fun
man.
shit
No,
ever.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
gotta
wait.
come.
We
You gotta
do
come.
it.
Speaking of shows, we're coming tonight. He's playing at the store tonight.
8 p.m.
Every time I see your thing, I almost DM you, but I don't want to annoy you. Be like,
You definitely should. Though.
I'm coming.
You don't annoy it. Yeah,
I'm coming.
Tonight.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Tonight's a good show too. Tonight'd be a fun show. There's some
coming.
monsters on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Who's on?
I think Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Whitney Cummings. I think Joey Diaz might be on there. Jack Callan might be on there.
Right.
It's a comedy store, dude. So it's like
it's
the Pro Bowl.
It's an amazing time. Feels like I feel like because I used to have a guy who lived in the house who helped me with video stuff, who's big into comedy, and he's talking about how it comes in like waves where like the comedy's
like the NBA.
Yeah,
Like
and it's
that. Like right now, it's popping.
It's popping.
The comedy store is the NBA. Like
Yeah.
I'm the punter on the team. I'm the punter. I'm the punter. So I'm around.
I
want to
get into this. I want to get into this a little bit. Like, so along the lines of continuing that conversation, we were talking about kind of, having this dream for the NFL, getting there, but not a obtaining the
I was at
overall
Rob
goal.
Gronkowski. No, yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the goal.
And then the next thing, UFC, kind of there's a similarity there.
I was in Cain Velasquez. Yes.
Now, are you seeing the same alignments with comedy? Because you're on the fast track. You're like you've made jokes. I watched the special and I watch a bunch of your stuff, and you make jokes like, "Yeah, I started 2 years ago," and like, that
I poke fun at because
you poke fun at it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, what are you gonna do?
And I relate so much because I really I don't think I even would have got started without the baseball background in the beginning.
Yeah, because I think it's a fearlessness that I developed as a kid with anything, where it's like, I critique, bring it on. I don't give a fuck, man. So it's like, there's just this fearlessness where I do have belief in myself where if I decide to do something, I'm going to figure it out, man. It might take me this long or this long. I'm going to figure it out. I guarantee you I'll figure it out.
Baby.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
That's the
It might take me longer. Or it might take, who knows?
Right.
I promise you I'll figure it out.
Right.
That's everyone goes, oh, that's an ego. That's a cocky. No, it's not cocky. It's just, I know the amount of, when I get hooked on something, the amount of work I'll put in, I'm going to outwork everybody.
Right.
So
it's what you're doing.
Yes.
It's what you're doing. I mean, you're fucking hustling your ass off, just from my perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Now, are you feeling like you're getting resistance because of how like comedy, from what I know of it, it's one of those communities where like paying your dues and dudes playing clubs for 10 years before you get a special and do all this. You're fucking booming going because it's not, and again, you put in the legwork. You did those podcasts when the other fighters would put the tail between their legs and not do a fuck. Go talk about it. You did that shit, bro.
Yes.
Like
I think I'm sure there's comics out there who say that, like, oh, fuck Schaub, and the only reason he has a career is this. That's fine. But anyone who's doing shit isn't saying that. Anybody who is successful, like, I've never thought about anyone. I don't have time. To be a good guy is so goddamn tough. I don't give a fuck about anybody else.
I think that's a blanket statement.
Yeah, like,
anyone successful in life, like, is not on YouTube being like, this guy sucks. Like, if
No,
you're doing
never.
anything,
Never.
even if not even successful, just successful in your own realm, happy and healthy, you're not spewing negativity towards someone who's trying to follow their dream.
that negativity just comes from their own insecurities.
It's a reflection.
But with comics, I'm sure there's that, but I'm like a racehorse. I'm this. Like, what?
Blinders, baby.
You're not gonna. That stuff doesn't matter to me. So, like, I don't read comments on social media. I've never read a YouTube comment because positive or negative, it's not going to help me with my material, with my career, with my family. So I just stopped. I stopped reading a long time ago, man.
Right,
a long time.
And
ago.
as a comic, it's an interesting thing. I mean, you could tell me much more about it, but like, there's an interesting relationship to the consumer as a comic, even more so than like a musician. When obviously I'm singing and you're watching the crowds, but I get that feedback from the digital media.
Yes.
You get what I mean? Like, this song's streaming well.
Yeah.
This video got this many clicks.
Yes.
Blah, 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 right?
Yes.
You go out there night in and night out and you're working on your craft, but like, there's this weird relationship with the consumer because you're like, you need them. You need their feedback. You need to understand them.
You have to.
More than anything, any other entertainer almost. Like, it's such
you get instant kind of where you're at. You get a gauge of instantly where, like, I wrote a joke this morning, which I'm trying tonight for the first time. Hopefully it goes well. You know, like, hopefully, but I'll know if it doesn't.
I'll be in the back like, I'll be supporting you either way.
You guys boo me. Yeah, but also with comedy, it's kind of, like, to relate to baseball, it's like, let's say some new hot shot got on the baseball team. If he can hit the fastballs, like, yeah, he deserves to be here.
Right.
Listen, the Comedy Store, the Improv, the Laugh Factory, Showtime, the worldwide tours, like, those people aren't coming because I'm not making them laugh. So it doesn't. Comedy's very black and white. Are you making them laugh or not?
True.
So it's like, I don't know what
Yeah, and and big, almost more than that. Are you putting ass in the seats? You know what I mean?
Ass in the seat's a big one, but the only difference with that, like, Charlie Sheen or some of these other, like, YouTubers or like actors who want to be stand-up comedians, they might put ass in the seat for the first time, but then after that, if there's no act or they want to be comics, it shows like you wouldn't believe.
Cream rises to the top at the end of the day.
I'm telling you, like, you might get a famous actor, YouTuber, where like, oh, that's the guy that we've been watching. In LA, especially the Comedy Store, that lasts for 1 minute. Then people go, okay, now go.
Yeah, you're
because after you is Fahim, after you is Chris D'Elia, and freaking Mark Norman and Andrew Schultz and these monsters. So go.
Yeah.
So it's like I also get respect from the veterans in the comedy game because they see me bust my ass.
Yeah, you're doing it.
And try new material.
You're doing it.
And I'm a comic.
Doing it.
I'm fucking submerged in the comic life. So
Right.
I think they appreciate that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, you're two big podcasts at this point. You're on one with Theo Vaughn, who's a hilarious guy.
Yeah, monster.
Hilarious guy. I don't know him, but I know him through you, and that's how I was like, this
he's
guy's
one of the
hilarious.
biggest comics in the world.
Is he really?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
wow.
He's huge. Yeah,
Wow.
I think he's going to tape a special for Netflix end of the year in LA. But around like the Comedy Store, it's like him and Andrew Schultz are the next like. There's Bill, there's
Andrew
Rogan,
Schultz
there's
is
Chappelle,
hilarious. Yeah.
but then there's those guys who
The
are
young.
like it's boiling.
Yeah.
That's them. It's
Yeah.
Theo Vaughn's, the Mark Normans, the Santinos. There's this crew below there. That are
I had
fucking
Santino over
up.
here playing beer pong.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah,
he lives close.
Super close.
Yeah, super
he was
close.
saying that.
Yeah, he's the
I'm
best.
gonna get up with him again. We had a good night.
But yeah, there's those guys. So, but doing a show with Theo and then doing a show with Brian, it's like.
Yeah.
I'm Steve Kerr on the fucking 93 Chicago Bulls where I got some skills. I'm not Michael Jordan. I'm not Scottie Pippen. I'm not Rodman. I'm on the squad though. And I'm around it. So I'm picking up
Soak
this.
it up.
But I'm sparring with these guys every week. Twice a week.
You know how good that is for you? That's like the best training you could have.
It's the best. That's
best.
my advantage.
Yeah.
That's my advantage.
But it's positioning. You're like, what sounds like in your life, you're not really even overthinking it in a psyche way, but you always find yourself in the right positions because you're living life the right way. You know what I mean?
I've never thought, I'm gonna start, especially with me and Brian. I was like, I'm not gonna start this podcast because hopefully I become a stand-up comedian. Or with Theo, it's like, I'm not gonna start this podcast hoping we make money or it becomes big. We just do it because we're really good friends. We have this cool chemistry. We had this show idea.
Yeah,
that's why we started.
He's the man too.
Yeah, like we've never Finding a Kid, my Showtime show. I never go in and go, I hope people watch, or I hope I make money. I've never even in comedy. I was like, I'm gonna start doing this so I make money. Never.
The right intentions, man.
Yeah, never.
When those are the initial intentions, it never. I mean, I can't say never, but it doesn't seem to pan out.
I don't think you would last as long as I did, especially in the podcast game, if your intention was just to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
What a space now. I mean, you guys were early. When did Fighting the Kids start?
Like 6 years ago.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's early.
We started in Brian's garage.
Wow.
I know, man.
How'd you link with him originally? Just
So years ago, I was a coach on The Ultimate Fighter. I came back as a coach, and they brought Brian in to make the kids laugh because he had a relationship with one of the other coaches.
Interesting.
And I was just getting ready to move to LA, and Brian had a show that night, and I went to a show, and then we just hit it off. And I was like, dude, I'm moving to LA next week. I didn't have any friends, but I grew up in Venice Beach in the summers as a kid.
Okay.
So I told Brian, like, dude, I'm moving to LA next week. He goes, I live in Santa Monica. If you need anything, text me, dude. Like, let's hang out. So like, all right. So I sold everything in Denver, moved to LA. I was at my freaking my uncle's house and just started crying because I didn't have any friends. I was like, what am I doing here? And I text Brian, and he's like, let's meet for coffee. Met for coffee. He's like, we should do a podcast. Went to his house, did a podcast. And then he's like,
"How's a podcast?"
Yeah, I thought it was radio. I didn't know. He had to explain it to me.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Dude, we should do this every week. Like, it'd be good for you." I'm like, "I don't want to do this shit every week." He's like, "I'm telling you, it'd be good." So then me and him started doing it. And then what's cool about it is me and Brian have never missed an episode in 6 years. So Brian,
it's inspo for us.
Brian was getting made fun of by his actor comedian friends for doing a podcast.
Exactly.
And then I would get made fun of by fighters in the UFC for doing podcasts. And then now,
Who's laughing?
What's up?
Who's
So
laughing?
now what's funny is all Brian's actor friends, comedian friends want to come on the podcast.
Can we come on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
up?
Oh, why? Exactly.
Again, but me and Brian, no one predicted this. We didn't. None of that. It's just
Your song "Closer." There's a lyric in there that said, "The same people asking why you're doing it will ask you how you did it."
there. You go.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a perspective thing as time. You know, like you're the only one that really knows
Yeah.
in your core what it can be.
Yep.
Let's take a little. I got to take a pee break.
Yeah,
we
pee.
do little pee breaks,
Let's
and
do
then
it.
we'll.
I'm not mad at piss break.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back with You Never Know, You Know What I Mean, right after this urination break.
Call Dakota.
Calling Dakota.
You have a guy that
I sound like such an asshole with that, don't I?
You're like, security, that's ridiculous. Who needs that? Call Dakota.
Stevie Daniels.
Tell him I need an iced tea and a joint. Thank you.
Yeah, that sounded.
What were you saying,
sounded
though?
so whack. Can you please roll up a J ASAP? I'm trying to get baked. We got about 20 minutes left. Thank you, sir. I sounded so bougie right there.
No, it's awesome.
No, you can start. Yeah. No, dude. Listen. There's one other thing I said recently to someone. They go, "You have someone who shops for you?" And I'm like, "Cause, dude, I was gonna get into this. You're a fucking fashion guy.
Yeah, I love fashion.
You love it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you're a big fucking bruiser.
I know, it's a beast.
But it's what makes you you. You know.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about fashion, and
Really?
I'm wearing a Louis Vuitton shirt. So
That's a nice shirt.
If
You look pretty stylish. You got the Union J's on.
yeah, always been a sneaker guy.
$2,000 shoes, son.
Always sneaker guy. But what I'm saying is like, I don't have the passion or energy, and I don't know how the fuck you do.
Like put something together.
Well, just to like go out and be like, I'll try on these 15
dude,
shirts.
I live for it. Like I always
so
start
funny.
shopping for my European tour. Like what I'm gonna wear on stage. It's not till next year, dude.
That's so funny.
I love it, man.
That's so funny.
I love it. I have my outfit picked out already for the night. Like I love it.
Bro, like 3 minutes before you got here, I'm like, all right, walk in my closet, pick it out, throw it on. Like,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of dudes are like that.
yeah, I'm like that. So I have one guy who's like, just into it. So like, I'm like, yo, just pick me out shit. He knows how I am. I don't
Like your
like,
style?
this is probably the flashiest shirt you'll ever see me in. Like, I'm just,
So he just picks out. So does he
I feel
know
like I look
fashion? or is
really
he-
douchey when I dress up. Like,
Really?
if I were to wear the shit you wear, like,
But you wear like on stage. You wear what? Jeans, t-shirt, dope
yeah,
kicks.
but like, that's it.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's cool. I could dress,
Yeah.
you know, and it's interesting because we have like, well, you need this weed? We have, here, thank you, sir. We
That's
have,
the weed roller.
well, he does, he's our like warehouse manager as well.
Okay, but also
He
rolls
wears,
a mean
he
dude.
wears many hats.
Wears many hats.
I just got a few guys that just roll great J's. So, I mean,
Why not?
it's a mastermind alliance. I got it from Think and Grow Rich, but
Love
like,
it.
look, I believe in specialized knowledge, right? There's things I'm good at. I'm
Yeah.
gonna come up here and I'm gonna create content.
That's
and
what you're good at.
I'm good in branding, doing this shit, business. I need guys to fucking fill in the holes around me, so I'm not
feel you.
fucking
Yeah.
feeling like I got holes.
But also, you don't want to waste time doing it.
Exactly. It's not. And some people like also it's just a flat out like he's better than me at it.
Yeah.
You're better than me at it, so
So
know?
you do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not knocking it, dude.
Oh, I'm like, yeah, but like I said that in front of someone. I was like, yeah, like I was talking. I was like, can you just go pick me out a bunch of shit? Because I had to go to some wedding. He's like, you got a guy that shops for you? Who are you?
Well,
But I'm like, I'm just not like, it's not bougie at all. It's just simply like I can't shop.
no, especially if that's what that dude likes to do.
Yeah, no,
it
he's
makes it
good.
easy.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to go out and shop for me every day, but he will. But he will.
will,
You know,
yeah.
I don't call on him to do it much at all.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And I call on
There's
him.
a lot of people like
I call on
that,
him to roll more J's than I call on
Than
him
the
to
shop.
go shopping.
But there's a lot of people that stylists and whatever.
Yeah, no,
That's
I don't
nothing.
think I'll ever have a stylist.
Well, it's kind of what you're doing.
I guess I do. Yeah, fuck.
Oh, fuck.
I guess I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, we've had an amazing conversation so far. I just wanna. There's one thing I really wanted to bring up. I thought it was fascinating. You were on Joe Rogan, who you've been on a bunch.
Yeah, good buddy.
Who I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
And I think I really even know about Joe Rogan's podcast through you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I kind of started watching it more. But you had there was an amazing moment on there, and it was probably a tough moment for you. And I don't even know if you've talked about it with other people, but I want to talk about more how it felt and what the moments after were and what it was like, because he kind of like put you on the spot, right?
Yeah.
On a podcast. He's your friend.
Yeah.
Was that your first time on the podcast?
No.
Multiple. So
Yeah.
you've had this
Been
rapport
on
with
a
the
bunch.
guy.
Me
You
and
were-
we're good buddies. Yeah, one
Yeah.
of my closest friends.
Exactly. So you have this real ass moment on there,
Mm-hmm.
and he's basically challenging you, like, not even challenging you. He's like kind of looking at it like, I don't want you to get hurt. I don't
Yes.
think, you know. And
Because
there
he's been around the game so long,
Mm-hmm.
and him and Brian knew I was like halfway in, half out. So
Mm-hmm.
fighting, you can't. Baseball, you can
Can't.
do that. Football, you can do that because you're still collecting a check. You're not really getting fucked up. Fighting, you got to be all in, or you can get really hurt.
Yeah.
And you're just not going to win fights. So, you know, and I had a successful podcast going. I was wanting to do stand up, so they knew there's other things I could do. So it's basically, you know, I wish it didn't go down like that, and I was caught off guard, and I didn't know that was going to happen.
I don't think you should wish it went down different, man. It was awesome.
No, yeah, and
I know. Yeah.
it definitely, you know, it definitely, you know, blew things up for Fighting the Kid in my career.
Exactly.
I think people were like, oh shit, man. But I didn't say much, man. I was more embarrassed than anything. I was more embarrassed. And I was mad. I was really mad at Joe and Brian. But they were right. They were right.
So you were genuinely angry.
Very upset. That's why I didn't speak, because I was worried I was going to say something I would regret or I would start crying. So
were you thinking like, oh, how about I kick your ass?
Yes. I was very, very upset. I was very, very upset. I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like, dude, tell me
Tell
me off air.
This is what I wanted to know.
What are you doing? Tell me off air.
Exactly.
But I was very upset, and then went home that night. I was just like, oh God, I'm so embarrassed. Everyone's gonna hate on me, and this is so embarrassing. And it wasn't that. And then Joe and Brian both called me after. Literally, those are my brothers, man. We're so close, and between Brian and Rogan, that's who I owe my career to. So
right.
It was the right call, and tough love's fucking tough for a reason. So
But you probably got another layer, like all the shit that you've gone through is just built this layers on layers of tough skin,
like
to the point where you don't give a fuck about what anyone's saying about anything.
No, I really don't give a fuck,
because you've just been through it.
I've been through it, and it's just like, unless it's from one of my peers or someone who I would take advice from, I'm definitely not going to take hate from.
Good point. So my question is, at what point did the anger subside or the embarrassment subside, and then you sat back and you're like, maybe he's right?
One night, like that's the one thing about me. It's like I'm like a quarterback. I throw an interception, I don't dwell on it. I'm like, all right, fuck it. What are we gonna do now? So that night driving home, I was really pissed, and then it turned from pissed being like, I'm gonna prove both of them wrong. I'm gonna cut to 205 and still compete. So like, but I knew they were right. Like even when I laid my head down that night, I'm like, they're right. But then I was like, fuck this, watch this. So then the athlete came out of me. I'm like, all right, I'm going to cut to 205 now, and I'm going to fucking start winning fights just to prove them wrong. And then I was starting to cut, probably like 3 or 4 days of hard cutting and training. I'm like, literally, I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Wow.
Oh, I'm done. They're right. I'm done. Yeah.
Wow.
I call them like, what's up, boys?
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you ghost them for like 4 days and not talk to them? Like, fuck these guys?
Me and Brian called putting them on ice. No, not at all. They're right, man. They're older than me. They've experienced so much. They're 2 people I look up to. So
interesting. So Brian was with you on the podcast.
Because me and Brian were gonna do a podcast. He goes, "Oh, Joe wants to do it with us." And I thought that's weird because we're talking about my career. Like it was gonna be a podcast about me losing to this Hawaiian monster and how I failed. Like, and I go, "All right, dude, but I don't really want to talk about my career in fighting. Let's just have fun and drink beers and whiskey and smoke and weed." And Brian's like, "Yeah, of course, man. I'd never let any of that happen."
He set you up, kind of.
He didn't know either.
Okay.
I think he thought maybe we're gonna have like some discussion on it, but I don't think think Joe knew that. It was
it
just
like,
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like
it felt like it. I mean, I watched it and
I've never seen it.
I really wanted to have this conversation.
I've never seen it.
with you.
I never want to see it. That was just it was just like
interesting.
a tough time. It's just I don't know. It's a yeah.
Are you mad I brought it up?
No, not at all. No, people haven't brought it up to me for a while.
Okay, good.
No, I'm not mad at all.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
You do no wrong
because I knew that would. I mean, we're cut
dude.
from the same cloth.
That episode made
the
the cover of the New Yorker. It was the first podcast on the cover of the New Yorker. So it was like, it was a podcast with me on it. But it was like, just being open and like, one thing is about fighters and some football players. All the NFL's pretty cutthroat. They'll cut you when you're done. But fighting, you can keep going. Like you look at BJ Penn and a lot of these legends. They keep going. They have brain trauma, and no one's ever telling them, "Hey, man, you should stop before it's too late."
Right.
So that was,
right. There's a conversation to be had there, though, like a bigger conversation.
Big conversation, especially if a guy can do other things.
Right.
And I think they were right.
I think they were right. It feels like they were right.
Feels like they were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you called from that conversation, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. The real moment was like, he was like, I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
And that's how you got your name for this first Showtime special.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Funny, right?
That's awesome.
So ridiculous.
That's what I do, though. I use those moments for like my titles and.
We're coming with all these titles, and I was just like, man, you'd be surprised, Fitz, in so many ways.
So good.
Because now I'm here, man.
So
and
good.
he opened up for me. He opened the show. They had no idea. It was 2,600 people, Spreckles Theater,
Joe
San
did.
Diego. They go, ladies and gentlemen, your opener, put your hands together. The crowd's like, oh, it's going to be fucking Brian or something. Joe Rogan, the crowd goes,
no way.
and
That's
then,
so dope.
Then you'll hear him on the special. He's bringing me on stage.
I did. I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Pretty cool, man.
And you used the Big Steve song,
That's
Closer.
right, dog.
That's amazing.
That was the slogan.
That's the most full circle shit ever. That's
I
awesome.
know, right?
That's awesome.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool, man.
So before we go, you're doing a ton of shit. What the hell's getting you out of bed right now the most? Like what I know, as you're saying, you're kind of trying to find a balance of like being the best father you can.
Yep.
And also under that same umbrella of being the best father is providing the most you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that dichotomy of like how much do I have to do versus like how much time can I sacrifice with the, missing with my child. You have another one on the way.
Yes.
What the hell's next? And you don't need to say, hell, I have this thing coming up and this thing. I'm talking more so like and you don't need to have a deep, long answer
goal.
about it. It's just more so like what in your head, where do you want this all to go? I mean, are you identifying mostly as a comic?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just as a comic.
Just as a comic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, like you're just you're just a great personality too, though. Like,
Yeah, I'm just doing what I want.
Exactly.
Literally, and what I want to do is stand up. So I love doing the podcast, but I would do that whether we aired it or not. I love
Right.
having conversations with my two best friends. So
Right.
I do that, but that to me, that's not a job.
that's a nice luxury.
I'm
though.
seeing my friends
Yeah.
twice a week, and we're forced to hang out.
That's
So
how I see it.
I love that. Like
Yeah.
this isn't work.
Yeah,
what are you
yeah,
talking
it's
about?
not.
Yeah, identify as a comic. Use the pronouns Z and Zen. Just kidding. I don't know, man. I guess what gets me out of bed besides my son is you just don't want to be a loser, man. You
Yeah.
don't want to be a loser. And I feel like I'm just getting started and I just got so much work to do. So it's like I can't stop. And if you
Always-
think what I did so far is good, it's like, oh,
Just wait.
Bubba.
Yeah.
I'm such a young chicken in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So
The ironic part of you loving the song "Closer" is that's literally what it's about.
There you go, man.
You're never gonna get there. There is no fucking end game where it's just like, oh, we did it. All right. It's always the next thing. There's a next journey. You have these goals written down. You can write them down. They'll be real tangible things you can look at. But by the time you get there and you obtain that goal, life's path, like that goal has evolved.
No, that mountain always climbs,
Yeah.
keeps going.
It
Yeah, I
goes and
don't,
goes
I don't
and
ever
goes.
want to be able to get to the top mountain and be like, oh, this looks cool up here. Then I'd be so screwed. I'd be so sad.
Exactly.
So I think I just keep climbing this endless mountain type.
Exactly.
Finally fall off and die.
Exactly.
That's the plan.
One last thing. How old are you? 35?
36.
36, right? You're a fucking hip, cool 36-year-old guy, right?
Depends how you look at it.
No,
Yeah.
you fucking are.
Yeah.
Just dress, mannerisms,
Yeah.
everything, I'm fucking 30. I feel like I'm 12.
Yeah.
Mainly because I feel like I've lived two separate lives. You probably have that same feeling.
For sure.
But I wanted to get your outlook on like age and what because to me, the only real thing, like age, time is kind of a construct I have trouble like understanding exactly, but like experience, right? Experience is like the only thing. Like when we talked about Josie earlier, like being 18, but growing up in LA and growing up in the spotlight. She's more mature than I was at 25. I grew up in Rhode Island, lived a sheltered life.
That's her life story. Yeah. That's
But
her
like
path.
experience is everything. And you've just had so much experience in
I love
so many
experience.
realms. So
I know.
that's why you're so fresh. I mean, I'm answering the question for you, but
Yeah, it's so funny you brought this up because I might lose all followers now. But last night I got lately I've been really into True Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I chill at home, I watch shows. And I remember a long time ago I got into True Blood, and then last night I got high and I got pretty down about thinking about how because in True Blood the vampires live forever. There's some vampire that's 1,000 years old there.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking the knowledge I could obtain if you live that long. And then I just went down this weird path of what I would do. I was so high.
That's what happens to
about
get
like
big.
what path I would do,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
language I would learn. I get kind of bummed out about it. But yeah, I just think I've experienced some things at a really high level in different categories where it's made like this weird stew of this 36-year-old.
right.
Yeah.
Is age anything on your mind that ever like worries you or bothers you?
No,
Doesn't seem
I mean,
like
I
it.
worry about getting fat. You know, when you get older, your body's just like,
Which
hey,
you're
we're
not.
good, bro.
You're looking-
Yeah,
you
we'll
look-
see, man.
You're looking big, brown, and sexy right now.
Dude, I'm gonna be big, thick. I keep telling you, eating like I am. But with age, no, I haven't really thought of age. No,
Cool.
no,
Cool.
man.
I wanted to get your take on that because I get the messages from these fans and this guy. I'm 23. I'm not sure. I feel like I've already missed my youth. I'm like,
Oh,
dude,
God,
I'm like,
dude.
dude, you're fucking 23.
I just had this conversation with a player. I won't say his name, this NFL player, and he's 26.
Feels washed
and
up.
he got cut, and he goes, dude, it's like, now I guess, that's it. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
all-
You're 26.
Exactly.
You're just getting started. All athletes, when you're done, your life is, that was what you did when you're a kid, and then you made it. Congrats. Average career is about 3 years. That's not a life, dude. That's just something you did. Like, did you play flag football growing up? You don't identify as a flag football player. You don't identify as, did you play Pogs? You're a professional Pog player. Who gives a fuck? You had some good times playing Pogs, but you don't identify as just Pogs. Fuck Pogs.
Exactly.
But so it's like, you got to move on now, dude. You guys
Exactly.
are just getting started.
There you
Just
go.
getting started.
That's the soundbite I wanted from you,
Yeah,
sir.
dog.
Man, I appreciate you making time. I know you're
Oh,
a busy
dude.
motherfucker.
No, man.
I
You're
want
my
to
favorites.
come on one of yours again. or
Let's
it
do
could
it.
be-
Let's come on Fire and the Kid.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
love to. I'd love to see Brian again.
Yeah.
You guys were so cool when
Yeah.
I came.
I love
But
it, man.
anything. So for all my followers, if you don't, go follow this guy, Brendan Schaub, on everything.
Yep.
Just your name
Yep.
at Brendan Schaub, and again, touring a ton.
I'm
So
gonna tour,
go
man.
see all the.
When's this
Steves.
come out?
This is gonna come out soon. Yeah, a couple.
All right, perfect,
not
man.
yeah, 2 weeks from now.
I'm all over.
But fuck, go follow this guy, support this guy, and if he's in town, go see him. Say what's up.
You're the best, man.
Big Steve sent you. All right.
Big Steve sent you.
All right. Thank you, bro. Appreciate
Appreciate
you.
you, brother.